Now, the world's been watching this meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin, his visit to North Korea. It's the first time he's been there in nearly a quarter of a century. All smiles between him and Kim Jong-un. The two leaders signed a new mutual defence pact. And we read this afternoon that, in fact, the Russian Putin took along a present of a limousine, an armour-plated limousine, which he gave to the Korean leader. For more on what this might all mean, let's bring in the Director at Strategic Analysis Australia, Michael Shoebridge. Limousine aside, this defence pact, is it anything new or is it just rolling over one that already existed?
I think it is new and important news. I think it shows us how needy Putin is to supply his war against Ukraine, but it also shows he's in that war for the long term. He desperately needs more munitions and missiles from North Korea. But it also shows something. The Europeans see China as a security problem because of their support to Putin in his war in Ukraine. And now we've got Asian powers seeing that Russia is a security problem for us all because of this connection to North Korea. So really, this meeting and these agreements show us that the partnership between China, Russia and North Korea is a shared strategic problem for the democracies of Europe and the Indo-Pacific. These authoritarian powers are working much more closely together, and that means that we democracies need to do the same.
What sort of armaments, Michael, does Korea make, and what are they giving Russia to use in Ukraine?
Artillery shells is the big one. They've already been supplying millions of artillery shells to the Russians. Now, these are of variable quality and they're old. They're older than Kim Jong-un's time in leadership. So a bunch of them aren't working. But it's like that saying, you know, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. These shells are far better than Russia running out of shells. So it's artillery shells and missiles. And what Kim's getting in exchange will be economic assistance to feed his starving people and technology, nuclear and missile technology.
And a new car, apparently. Let's talk about the Middle East. Escalation now between Israel and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Israel's foreign minister warning that a decision on an all-out war with that terror group is coming soon. How dangerous is that?
That would really... Hezbollah's already in this war, but they're in it in a much more limited fashion than they could be. They have at least a couple of 100,000 rockets and missiles, some of them precision missiles that can hit Israel's major population centres, and they've got well-armed troops. But the Israelis will be more than a match for them. The real concern is, do the Israelis get bogged down in southern Lebanon, and what does Iran do? Because they're the key backer of Hezbollah.
And what does Lebanon do? I mean, Hezbollah is based just over the border, as we know. Those Israeli areas on the Israeli side have all been cleared out of people. What does Lebanon say when Israel starts attacking in a full-scale conflict or war in the border in Lebanon?
Well, it's pretty clear that the Lebanese people do not want Hezbollah to go to war. But Hezbollah is laced into Lebanese society and politics in a very big way. And so most of the Lebanese people are not going to have a choice. Although I think you're right to think that Hezbollah getting involved in a war now is probably going to undercut their future political position in Lebanon. They're not going to get the support that Hamas got early on for their atrocious, appalling brutality.
You happy with the announcement this afternoon that ASIO boss Mike Burgess has been reappointed? He's got that role for another 5 years. Is he doing a good job?
Well, I think he's one of the few senior officials that actually seems still allowed to speak publicly. That's good, but I'd encourage him to be more honest and frank with the Australian people and occasionally name some of the countries that are causing us problems. This idea that he can talk generally without naming the most malign actors, I think puts us all at a disadvantage.